Nice. Laser. Cool. All right. Hey folks, good to be here. I'm actually doing this presentation instead of Kendall Cole, who had a delay in his flight, but this is pretty interesting. And actually, I think I might start just by opening up by so proximity is like a near protocol kind of like related arm, and we're at ETH Denver, and so just as a total, I see some names up here that I don't recognize even just because like Web3 is just exploding, and it's impossible to keep track of what's going on. So like, what is near, what is proximity? Near is pretty darn interesting. I joined at first in January 2020, like 9 months before mainnet. So you can think of near, I like to think of it actually as like a remote control. So like in Ethereum, you can like, execute a function or you can like transfer funds. So there's kind of like two buttons mostly. Maybe with EIP 4337, there's a third button to like do a user object into the new mempool, which I'm really excited about. Near protocol is a little bit different where it's all like, it started out being WASM instead of EVM, right? So you can use Rust. We have a Rust SDK for this. But then also while I was there in like 2021, we realized like, oh my gosh, you could actually take the EVM parity crates and we like made a smart contract on Near that is the EVM. So we had this discussion one time with Ilya, the CEO, and we were saying, okay, so are you writing a native smart contract or a Ethereum smart contract? And Ilya was kind of like, well, both are native, actually, if you think about it. So anyway, if you didn't know that, you can throw your Ethereum smart contracts on Near in this thing called Aurora. I personally think that Rust smart contracts are awesome. Proximity is a really amazing kind of, it's like part like we're DeFi focused, we have a lot of that knowledge, but then also like R&D. And so today we're gonna be talking about chain signatures and cross-chain DeFi. So cross-chain DeFi is definitely increasingly important. Let's show a few like charts going on here. So here's some bridge volume. Sorry, thank you. Here's a couple of shots from some DeFi like metrics happening recently. So DeFi Llama has this for the past, since November. It felt to me like the bear market started to kind of turn around by then, which is nice. We have another one here of just like the swap volume, as we can see. What we're also realizing, especially now, like all together, is that bridges aren't exactly what we were all kind of hoping would happen. So now is a great time to really like dig into other aspects. Why do I say that? Well, there's been just a couple of bridge hacks that were fairly substantial, and these sort of like keep happening. And then this isn't like throwing shade on anyone. This is just like a very difficult space to be in. Some of the smartest people sometimes like accidentally have hacks. So this is just something that happens. Here's a few more examples. 2 billion in 2022. That's quite a bit. And then now we're seeing all these different kind of bridges. Like second one here is the CCTP, right, from Circle, which is a big deal right now. And USDC is like native USDC is also like coming to Near, so this is important. So you can see kind of like the different logos here of like who's like involved, but it's almost like there's a subset, and so you almost like have to be in the icon list essentially. So that's a little bit of a problem. We have some inconsistent UX happening too, where the bridging speeds may vary. So for instance, you can use the Rainbow Bridge from Near to bring like bring Ethereum tokens over to Near in minutes, but then going the other way is going to be much longer just because of how things work. So it's harder to explain to people like, yeah, that one will be fast, but then the other route is not going to be as fast because blah, blah, blah. Security is extremely important, right? So this is bringing that kind of like strange UX. And then of course the gas token management has always kind of been a problem here. So yes, programmable MPCs is a crucial addition. So this is multi-party computation, and man, I thought I had some idea about how cryptography worked, and then I was listening to people who actually know how MPCs work talk, and it's really pretty incredible. It's a way where like multiple people can have their own private keys, and then as they all sign it, then you can kind of generate like, this was essentially from this public key without really creating like a private key that's vulnerable or anything. So this is really what we're leaning into right here. A couple of big names that we're looking at that we're really excited about here. All of these are things that we discuss internally almost every day at Proximity. I'm sure we're familiar with these. Then we have account-based and deposit-based. One thing that I will note is like, actually, yeah, I'm very excited for this ETH Denver because EIP 4337 just got a security audit like 3 days ago. I like read through it. I'm extremely excited. What this means is that for Ethereum, we will soon have like not just your EOA, but you're gonna have a smart contract on your EOA, right? And this is a small distinction that I didn't realize was that amazing until I went to Cosmos and I was just stuck with this EOA. And I'm like, where's my contract, right? So Near is really interesting. I own Mike.Near, and every person that owns like a .Near account basically can have a contract associated with it. So you always have the option to have a smart contract on your account. So I did want to point that out because it's a huge superpower, and I really look forward to seeing this happen in Ethereum. I think it's going to happen like this year. Key advantages. Yes, so this MPC has several advantages where we can just support all chains, including the non-smart contract chains. Because essentially what we're doing is we like to have our starting place be at Near, right? Where I have Mike.Near, and I can add and remove keys as I wish, which is pretty amazing. You're not stuck with one EOA key. If you think for some reason that like, uh-oh, some person ran off with my laptop, I want to rotate my key out, you totally can. And so we're going to start with Near, but then as soon as you sort of get that whole MPC flow going, you're just broadcasting a transaction to any network. So it doesn't have to have a smart contract. This can definitely go to like Bitcoin, right? For instance. And then, yeah, we're gonna, as we sort of like make this flow for kind of chain signatures and cross-chain DeFi, like as we build out this flow between relayers and MPC nodes, then people know what to expect. We're not gonna have that inconsistent UX that we were talking about earlier. Okay, yeah, so threshold signatures controlled by Near. So this will be one of the things that we show, and then we're gonna show a couple of different sort of variations here. But yeah, you're gonna have your Near account. So for me, this is Mike.Near, and I'm just gonna sign it. And we won't get into the details. This is sort of like in the documentation, which will be on the last slide. But you can basically say, I'm gonna sign this. It's supposed to go over there. And then now you're gonna have these MPC nodes be able to just all join together and broadcast to this different network. And here is a nice little snippet of what you can expect of just signing a node. And as we say here, initially it's ECDSA and then ED25519. This guy is easier to like extract the public key, and that's what Ethereum uses. So we're going to do that. So it's pretty simple. Main focus being like multiple curve types, and then of course the derivation. It'll be almost similar to like hierarchical derivative paths in a sense. Like you can say this is supposed to be associated and going to like this particular network. So here is kind of like the first diagram that we can show of how this can work is my Near account, Mike.Near, will be initiating a signature, and then we're gonna go off to a few different MPC nodes, and these validators essentially will sign the payload via MPC, and then, as I said, we will be like routing that to the destination chain. Now let's talk about the gas relayers, and maybe putting a little pause in this. So Near does have like meta transactions, basically what you're used to in Ethereum, and so we can kind of talk about this a little bit as well. So here I am, Mike.Near, initiating a signature. We got the same sort of flow going to the MPC nodes, and then these validators use the MP, all join together for the multi-party computation, and then we have this multi-chain relayer. These relayers, how we got meta transactions working was, remember how I said that like Near has a remote control of several different buttons where you can add a new key, you can remove a key, and I can create like aloha.mike.near. That's called a sub account. I can delete my account if I want. So there's several different buttons. And so what we did to make these relayers possible was we added a new action, a new button to our remote control on mic.near saying like, I want to delegate an action. And so these relayers are kind of using that, and then we will obviously pay relayers for their work. And then the relayer takes payment, USDC. We fund the destination address with gas tokens, and then boom, we just send the signed transaction. And here you can see that we're sort of targeting Bitcoin, obviously Ethereum, Solana, and Atom too. Use cases, yep. So AI Phi, which we've been talking about a lot today on the stage actually, and then the Omnichain AI coprocessor, which is quite interesting. This is basically like a custom way to like execute difficult computations that AI likes to use, basically. Trustless bridges to all chains, including non-smart contract chains, because again, we are just talking about broadcasting in this sense. And yes, so all kinds of things inside of AI Phi. Swaps between AI tokens. BitTensor is a big deal right now. It's the TAO token. I'm sure folks who are into AI have been seeing a lot of posts on crypto Twitter about this as well. Lending using any sort of AI tokens, restaking, and that's probably going to lead us to our next little diagram here. And actually, yeah, we'll show more about the coprocessor stuff here. Trustless bridges. And yeah, we can have a light client to near and decentralized MPCs that handle kind of the other direction. And again, of course, we already have Ethereum, and that's been working for a very long time, very well. Here's the diagram, and it's going to get a little busy, so I'll point out what all the arrows are doing here the best I can. So here, let's say I want to have a token marketplace. I'm the seller. I can say, all right, I'm going to deposit some generated deposit account. Okay, down here. Our buyer is going to also deposit USDC. As I said, that'll be native on Near. And we're going to actually kind of directly deposit the TAO, which is the what we were talking about a second ago, BitTensor. This arrow probably is going slightly down to the marketplace as well, but then we're going to have this interaction between the seller to the buyer. Hey, do you want this thing? Buyer to the seller. Yes, I want this thing. And then boom, now we just kind of have that transfer happen. So this is just kind of a hopefully easy way, instead of imagining, to kind of see how this might operate. And yeah, we have developer docs in terms of like how this chain signature is working, how the MPCs are working. There's full directions on how to like set up your own sort of Cloudflare worker and all this jazz. Set up your own relayer. Telegram group is over there. And yeah, there's a lot of people involved in this who are walking around ETH Denver. We'd love to talk about it. And yeah, if you haven't tried Near, I'd love to like talk your ear off about it. It's really pretty incredible. Cool. I guess we can open up for questions if there are any. Yeah, that's a good question. So actually, I'll go back a little bit. And I believe this is, so you're talking about this kind of this bottom part here. Yeah, so I believe that this is like, for people who already are kind of starting on Near and maybe they want to get into some sort of DeFi protocol that is launching, but they're just like, whatever, I don't want to deal with like having native tokens over there. I just want to do it, right? And so the relayers are like, hey, I have native tokens for all of the things. So then it can just kind of help you get started. I get the sense that people who are showing up to ETH Denver at the hackathons, maybe they already have an Ethereum account funded, a Near account funded, but I believe that the relayers are kind of like for this use case where people like have nothing yet on one of the sides of the networks. It's a good question. You still need what? Yes, and so the relayers are taking USDC and they have some market rate, I assume, right? Being like, well, I'm going to charge this much, and then you say, yeah, I'm willing to pay that, and then they're like, well, I'm making a little bit off of you, but I'm also doing you a service. So is that kind of clear? The idea being that it's USDC, but yes, like they will be the ones kind of determining like, I'm willing to relay this for you for this much USDC because of the prices at this moment. Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is going to get really interesting because in my kind of opinion, and I'm going off script here, but like I think that there's a couple different ways we can do this, which is like you can sort of have NPCs all come together and like sign a transaction and just straight up broadcast it to an RPC. But then if we fast forward to a world where there really is this cross-chain vision happening and there are intents and AI agents that are like solving things for you, then there's gonna be like all this traffic flying through, and I do believe that maybe like having the proper nonce is gonna be a problem, because it's like two AI agents from things that you set up 6 months ago happen to try to like wanna do the same thing at the same time. And so besides like the NPCs coming up with the payload and then broadcasting it to the network, it's possible that we can do something more like 4337 if we desire, or experiment with it, where we can sort of sidestep the nonces and we can just say, we're just simply passing a message to this other blockchain. Hopefully you're passing a message. Hopefully, I would like to pass a message from Mike.near to my smart account on Ethereum. I would love that, because then my smart account can say, okay, yes, I will do something here, no, I won't do something here, have different conditions, or yeah, and then you sidestep nonces completely. But anyway, like that's probably like down the road, but this is sort of the vision, is like let's just start with like broadcasting stuff to other networks and make this like just like normal, like where you know what to expect and you don't have to like spend an entire afternoon being like, wait, hold on, so what do I do with the UX again? Like it should all just be pretty standardized. So pretty exciting. We don't have a demo on this quite yet. I believe the Pagoda team will, and we'll be doing a lot more of this in ETH Soul as well. So yeah, any final thoughts? So I think in this case, I guess like maybe the simple example that I'd like to think about is like the Bitcoin address, where like, so I have Mike.near, and I think I may have missed an important part that confused me too. So maybe you're in the same spot that I was, which is like Mike.near can go through the MPC and then basically like derive a Bitcoin address, right? So I would never be saying like, hey, I have like this one, I have like a ledger account that has like a 1 BTC on it. I want to like link that to my Mike.near. That's not how we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it like you'll be able to derive a Bitcoin address and then just straight up like broadcast to the Bitcoin network. And then now maybe I decide to like move some of that over to there. Does that make it a little bit easier? So the starting place is Mike.near, right? Does that help? Yeah. So you're almost like generating a brand new one, essentially, but there is no seed phrase, right? Because it's all kind of behind this MPC math that is still blowing my mind. Yeah. That, yeah. I believe that, I believe that the left QR code is going to have this stuff. Yeah, because there was some pretty critical documentation that was like merged like in the past like week. So I'm getting up to speed about this, but like it's there and there's like repos and stuff. But in terms of like how do I go through each and every step, I think that the relayers though are extremely detailed. If that's another starting point, my friend. Yeah, so it is all based on the threshold. And that, I'm not going to be able to speak to the technical side of that, but I do believe you can say, like, yes, we would like to have 5 out of 6 people say, sign off on this, or like, no, like, whatever, 2 or 3 is fine, or whatever. But yeah, threshold is how this is accomplished. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone, and look forward to chatting this week.